Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a full-blown meltdown in New York City tonight. In fact, the man that the radical left was calling their rising star, Zohran Mamdani, the socialist darling that was groomed to be the next mayor of America's biggest city, just got busted in a scandal that's so explosive, it is sending shockwaves from Queens all the way to Capitol Hill. Now, I'm talking about a photo that never should have seen the light of day. A smiling Mamdani arm in arm with a man linked to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Yes, you heard that right, guys. Terror ties, okay? And just hours after that picture went public, Mamdani's own rally turned into chaos. Protesters shouting, anti-Semite, traitor, and get out, all chasing him off stage. In fact, this isn't just another political embarrassment. This is the collapse of the socialist fairy tale in real time, because under President Trump's America First leadership, the people are not afraid anymore. They're standing up and they're fighting back. Drop a standing up in the comments down below if you're standing up too. Now, tonight, we're going to go ahead and pull back the curtain on everything that the media refuses to tell you about. Zohran Mamdani, the photo, the protests, and of course the radical record that has finally come back to haunt him. We're gonna lay all of his dirty laundry out on the table today. Stay tuned. This one's getting wild. Hit the like button and subscribe. Okay, folks, this is not just another rumor or some kind of speculation. This is real. A smiling Zohran Mamdani arm in arm with Imam Suraj Waha, the same man identified by federal prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Okay, now, picture this. This image dropped like a bombshell across social media, and the outrage, it was instant. New Yorkers who still remember the smoke, drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from. Where are my New Yorkers at, okay? New Yorkers who still remember the smoke, the sirens, and the heartbreak of terrorism on U.S. soil saw a man running for mayor, grinning side by side, someone who's tied to the attack that killed innocent Americans. Now, to them, it wasn't just tone deaf, it was betrayal. Now, imagine being a firefighter's widow from 1993 or even 2001 and seeing that particular picture resurface. It pretty much told people exactly who Mamdani keeps close and what kind of unity he actually believes in. And in an America rebuilding pride and strength under President Trump, that photo didn't just spark anger. It reignited the city's instinct to fight back against weakness and radicalism hiding in plain sight. Hours after this photo goes viral, Mamdani stepped onto a Queens stage to defend New York Attorney General Letitia James. Oh, and it went south real fast. Within minutes, a crowd erupted. One protester shouted, anti-Semite. Another one screamed, you'll go to jail with Tish. Cell phones came out, cameras started rolling, and chaos broke loose really quickly, guys. Eyewitnesses said Mamdani's smile vanished, his security detail tightened, and within seconds, the so-called champion of the people was hustled toward the exit as chants of traitor followed him down the street. No spin, no context, just pure rejection, live and raw. Now, here's the real symbolism, okay? In Trump's America First era, citizens aren't quietly sitting while far-left ideologues lecture them about tolerance. No, that ain't happening anymore. In fact, they're pushing back loud and unapologetically. That rally was supposed to showcase solidarity, but instead it became a snapshot of what happens when everyday Americans decide that they've had enough of being lied to, mocked, and governed by radicals who despise the very country that made them possible. Now, you know, stories like this, it kind of reminds me of how important it is to protect what really matters, your freedom, your security, and your future. But that also includes your healthcare coverage, because bad Medicare plans, they don't just hurt you, it ripples out to your family, your finances, even your peace of mind. This is why I partner with Chapter, guys. They make sure that your Medicare coverage sends the right ripples, security, savings, and even stability. Now, one viewer said, fixing my Medicare plan with Chapter lifted a weight off of my whole family. So let me ask, what kind of ripple do you want to send? Now, most people are already dialing that phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron to get started. And speaking of results, listen to this one message from one of our subscribers. I absolutely loved reading this. So shout out to Steph for the Lord 64. She left me a comment in one of our previous YouTube videos a couple days ago. She said, Ron, I want to thank you. I called Chapter today, followed your link, and Andrew, who answered, said, oh yeah, Ron Yates, thumbs up. It felt so good. I haven't even started with my new plan, and already I saw it be saving $35 a month. That is $420 a year starting 2026. My new plan is unbelievable, and I'm grateful. Guys, this is exactly what this is all about. Not just saving money, but protecting your future the smart way. So while everyday Americans are out here doing the responsible thing, saving, protecting, planning, New York's so-called socialist frontrunner can't even take responsibility for his own actions. Let's talk about what blew this scandal wide open. His race tax plan, and of course, the radical record that's been haunting him for years. And if you thought that that photo was bad, just wait until you hear what came next, because not even 24 hours after the chaos, an old clip from Meet the Press started circulating again, okay? Zohran Mamdani on national television explaining that his tax plan would shift the burden from outer borough homeowners to what he called richer, whiter neighborhoods. Now, I don't know about you, but that don't sound like equality. That sounds like revenge politics. Also kind of sounds racism. I'm just saying, that is race-based taxation dressed up as fairness. Drop an agree down below if you agree. Drop a disagree if I'm completely off base. I totally get it. Now, while Mamdani tried to spin it as an economic adjustment, the damage was already done. He already put it out there. He already said it. Everybody already heard him. New Yorkers saw a man who doesn't want to unite the city. He just wants to divide people by color and by class. Even Democrats started quietly distancing themselves because under President Trump, Americans are rejecting the idea that skin tone determines guilt or privilege. Can I get an amen down below? If you work, you pay, you earn. That is America. And any candidate that's pushing tax policy based on race just lit their own political fuse. Boom. Then came the knockout blow. Fox News dropped what they called the radical record, okay? 43 entries documenting Mamdani's own words, votes, and even proposals since 2020. Free public transit for all, even for those who refuse to work. Yeah, okay, that ain't gonna fly. Defund the police right as violent crime hit a 20-year high. Decriminalize sex work, endorse queer and trans medical access, and replace capitalism with socialist equity programs. It's all right there, folks. These are not rumors. We got the receipts, okay? The American Principles Project dug it up, and Fox, well, they put it front and center. Now, for years, the New York elite treated Mamdani like some kind of idealistic reformer. But once the full record went public, that illusion shattered real quick, because while President Trump's administration rebuilt the economy, restored law and order, and brought back border security, Mamdani stood for the exact opposite. Now, it wasn't just radical, it was anti-American. And the people of New York finally saw it for what it was in his own handwriting. And at the heart of this entire meltdown is one brutal truth. Zohran Mamdani doesn't just disagree with America's system, he wants to completely replace it. So while President Trump's administration is focused on rebuilding strength through sovereignty, manufacturing, and border security and border control, Mamdani is pushing the exact opposite. He wants redistribution, dependency, and global control. This is the same failed socialist formula that bankrupted entire nations across Europe. We've already seen the template. We ain't trying to do none of that over here, okay? We've seen this movie before. Promise free everything, destroy incentive, collapse the middle class, and then call it progress. The difference right now, Americans are not falling for it anymore. We're a whole lot smarter. Trump's economic revival exposed socialism for what it really is. It's really a control system wrapped in compassion. So when Mamdani preaches equity, New Yorkers hear submission. So when he talks inclusion, they really hear ideological cleansing. You see what I'm saying? This isn't about helping people. This is about power. It's always been about power. And this is exactly why the backlash has been so fierce, because this time people see straight through the mask. Then came the flashpoint that no campaign can survive: the anti-Semitism accusations. Now, we have multiple reports and viral clips showing Mamdani standing with activists who glorified Hamas and openly condemned Israel's right to defend itself. He called their voices legitimate resistance. Now, that's not just nuance. This is extremism. And it hit New Yorkers hard, especially the Jewish community who has endured decades of hate and terrorism. Under President Trump's peace through strength policy, Israel regained firm U.S. support and stability returned to the Middle East. But Mamdani's rhetoric, it completely undermines every bit of that progress. So when protesters shouted anti-Semite and you'll go to jail with Tish at his rally, it wasn't random anger. It was the eruption of a community that was tired of being scapegoated by people who pretend to fight for justice when they're really siding with those who chant for America's downfall. This is why Mamdani ran, okay? Because the truth finally caught up to him. It really did. So here's where things go from bad to completely terrifying, okay? So So Zohran Mamdani openly admitted that he would arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he ever set foot in New York City, citing international law. That's right, guys. He wants to enforce rules from the International Criminal Court, a body that the United States doesn't even recognize. Folks, that ain't leadership. That is loyalty to a globalist agenda. This is the same ideology that Trump fought against since day one. Unelected bureaucrats ruling nations from afar. Think about it, right? A New York mayoral candidate pledging allegiance to foreign courts over American sovereignty. You can't even make this stuff up, guys. And when even moderate Democrats called his remarks irresponsible, I'm talking about these are people from his own team. His own team, Democrats, are calling his remarks irresponsible. Mamdani, he didn't apologize or pull back. He doubled down, saying that he would exhaust every legal option to uphold those warrants. Translation, he would bend American law to satisfy foreign powers. That is not progressivism. That is subversion. And under President Trump's America First presidency, globalism is dying because patriots are finally calling it what it is: treason wrapped in moral language. Now, you already know how this goes, right? The mainstream media, they saw the chaos, the photo, the protests, the meltdown, and went silent. CNN framed it as a minor disruption. MSNBC didn't even bother touching it for like 2 full days. But Fox News, oh, they blew the doors off that sucker. They pulled the photo, verified the Imam, confirmed the rally footage, and broadcast the Radical Record timeline, all while the legacy media pretended it didn't exist. That's not journalism. That is narrative control, okay? This is why citizen media, people like you watching right now, have become the new press corps of America. Guys, 2025 isn't the year of corporate headlines anymore. This is the year of the truth teller. This is the year of the whistleblower. And every time networks try to bury stories like this one, it only makes it even bigger because the public has awakened, okay? And no amount of spin can cover the fact that the left's future mayor just became its biggest embarrassment. After the footage hit the internet, it broke the internet. Something wild happened on top of that. New Yorkers started showing up in the streets, not for chaos, but for clarity. American flags everywhere, signs reading "No terror in our town," "New York is still America," and we remember 1993. It wasn't organized by politicians or PACs or Antifa or any of that nonsense. This was organic outrage from citizens who had finally had enough. Veterans, firefighters, 9/11 survivors, people who built the city. They're standing shoulder to shoulder demanding accountability. And I don't know about you guys. I'm from New York. I don't know where you guys are from. Let me know where you guys are from. But this is how we do in New York, okay? And here's what's really beautiful. It's not about party anymore. This is about principle. Under President Trump's leadership, a movement of working class patriots has risen from coast to coast, pushing back against elitism, radicalism, infecting local governments. So when the photo of Mamdani and Wajaz leaked, it didn't just expose a man, it exposed a mindset. This is one that has been festering inside of America's institutions for years. But now the people are saying no more, not in our city, not in our country. And now the so-called future of New York progressivism is collapsing in real time. Donors are pulling out, major campaign events canceled, social media accounts suddenly locked for updates. Even his own staffers are reportedly quitting behind the scenes, saying the campaign's no longer viable. I mean, you can feel the panic setting in, guys. It's over. This isn't just another bad press cycle. This is political self-destruction, because once you lose the moral high ground, you done lost the crowd, okay? And Mamdani's moral high ground, it's gone. New Yorkers finally saw him smile next to a man that was linked to terror, mocked taxpayers in their faces with race-based agenda, and lectured citizens about justice while hiding his own hypocrisy. The writing's on the wall, guys. His campaign will not survive early voting, and the message from voters couldn't be any more clear. America's tired of radicals pretending to be reformers. This time, the mask slipped a little bit too far, and the people saw exactly what was underneath it. So what's happening in New York isn't just about one man. It's about America drawing a line in the sand. If the capital of capitalism, the city that built the skyline of freedom, can be overtaken by globalists and radicals who actually hate this nation's foundation, then no city is safe. This isn't Republican versus Democrat anymore. This is America versus decay. And President Trump warned about this years ago, even before he ran for presidency, okay? He said, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. Well, New Yorkers are proving him right. In fact, New Yorkers are saying enough to radical division, enough to anti-American rhetoric, enough to radical cowards cozying up to people who despise our way of life. The Mamdani scandal is just the latest symptom of a sickness that has literally spread just too far. And Trump's America First movement is the cure, because this isn't about punishment. This is about preservation. And that red line, the American people are the ones holding it now. And And as we might close tonight, picture this, okay? You got Zohran Mamdani sprinting from his own rally, getting chased not by hate, but by truth. A truth that has been suppressed by elites, twisted by the media, and of course ignored by those who are way too scared to confront the dang thing, right? That moment right there, him running, this is more than a viral clip. It's a symbol because for years, ordinary Americans have felt cornered, shouted down, and silenced for defending common sense. But not anymore, guys. Under President Trump, the tables have turned. Now it's the radicals who run. It's the globalists who hide. It is the anti-American opportunists who get exposed for what they really are. The people of New York just sent a very strong message to the entire nation. America's awake, and this time, we ain't backing down. Now, if you're glad to finally see truth catching up with these frauds, smash the like button, subscribe, share this video, because folks, this is just the beginning. I'll see you next time. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.